Ato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be discussing rather new topic.
Normally something that we don't discuss in our normal studies of the Theravada tradition. I think if I remind or brush up what we have done so far, we are in the discussing the section about which is bordering the Paramattas but cannot be exactly coined as Paramattas, like something which is in between the Paramattas and Panyattis. But actually these things that we have already discussed, like the Anippanna Rupas, certain forces of the Pachyas, and the three universal characteristics, the Anicca Lakkana, Dukkha Lakkana and Anatta Lakkana, should not be termed as Panyattis because they are not synthesized objects of the mind, but they depict certain similarities for the Paramattas but cannot be exactly mentioned as Paramatta Dhammas. So that's why we put them in between the Panyatti and Paramatta sections. So far we have discussed the Anippanna Rupas, certain attributes related to the matter, and then three universal characteristics and also certain forces of some conditions. Today we will be discussing about Gati, something related to the spheres or the existence within the samsara. So before we go into the lecture, as usual, we will draw the diagram which indicates where our lesson locates. Now, so it's a smaller board, but anyway, we have Paramattha was divided into two, Sankata and Asankata. And Asankata. Then Sankata we had four categorizations, Paramatta Dhammas, then we had Uppadino Dhamma, then we have Paramatta Jatika, finally the Anuppanna Dhammas. Then Asankata Paramatta group, we had 5 types of nirvana, if you remember. Then we had Panyatti in the corner. We had Atta Panyatti. Then we have Nama Panyatti. Then something called Saddha Panyatti. In between, we had a section which were neither Paramattas, which are neither Panyatti nor Paramattas, but they are bordering the Paramattas, so that's why we separate them with a broken line. So the category was Anippanna Rupa, then we had certain Pachya forces, in Pali we call Ekaccha, Pachya Sati, Pali. Then we have Tilakkana, the three universal characteristics. Then we have Gati, and so forth. Ajata Kasa and Kala. Kala was something that we would discuss, but it would fall into the Panyati group. So these will be our lectures, and then we also had the difference of Dhamma and Dhammata. So today we would focus on this topic, the gati. I think so far we have covered all the conditioned realities, the unconditioned reality, and things that are in between the concepts and the realities, certain attributes of the matter, certain forces of conditions, supporting factors, then the three universal characteristics that we discussed last week. Today we will be focusing on this term called gati. So what is gati called? Gati means, in our tradition we have two specific definitions for the word term gati. In one sense, the gati means the realities. It falls into this category, the realities that would arise in certain realms. In other way, the gati sometimes refers to the space in which beings are born. For instance, the human gati, the manusa gati would be the earth. The divine gati, the deva gatis would be located above the sky, in the sky, according to the tradition. And the animal gati means the tirachana gati, the realm of animals, the kingdom of animals, is located within the human realm, within the earth, in the earth. So sometimes we normally say the earth belongs to the animals. Actually, humans came later on according to the scientific explanations. But in religious terms, normally we consider earth is the realm of the humans. Anyway, then the niraya gati, we have something which is unseen by the humans, but located inside the earth. So so the gati have two specific meanings. So I'll directly go into the topic. But today I'm discussing about something other than these two. We can call it a phenomenon if you want, but I would rather call it as a state, a certain state that according to which certain beings in different realms manifest different attributes like characteristics. So the topic would be gati, and it can also be called bhava. That's why I drew some dots after the gati. Then bhumi, whatever it is, gati, bhumi or bhava, whatever term we can use. So I'll just focus on the gati in this lecture, but also would touch the other terms. Gati, there are 5 gati according to Theravada tradition. But actually, unfortunately, I was unable to give you a handout this week because I was quite busy with some other work. I'll try to deliver it by next week. So gati, we have 5 types of gati according to Theravada tradition. One is niraya. Niraya is the hell. So Buddha has mentioned that he has directly seen the hells, and beings who do evil deeds do suffer after their death, born in such places. Then we have the second gati called tirachana. It's the animal kingdom. This doesn't include humans, but when we say in the animal kingdom, according to the theory of evolution, we also include humans into this category. But according to the Theravada traditions, humans are considered as a separate realm. Where animals are born as results of unwholesome deeds, while humans are born as a result of good deeds. Then we have another gati called Petagardi. Petagardi means, we normally translate this in English hungry ghosts, because according to the literature, petas mostly are afflicted with the hunger and thirst, and also they have some physical pain. But we can call it the hungry ghost realm. So, but they are some subtle type, they possess a subtle type of a subtle body which is not sensitive to the human eye, but they do greatly suffer due to the evil deeds that they have done in their past lives. Then we have the humans, the manusa, human realm. Then we have Ariel realm. Finally, we have Devagati. Deva here includes the deities and Brahmas. Or Brahmas. This is how the entire existence has been divided by the Buddha, as mentioned in the Theravada literature, in suttas. So all the beings would be categorized into any of these 5. Sometimes ones who have studied Abhidhamma would have a question about these are unwholesome, woeful realms, the first 3. The remaining are the blissful realms, we call. So how about the Asurakaya? Asurakayas are included in the Petas, because sometimes they have been mentioned, described as a part of the Petas, Kalakanjika Petas we call. Then the Brahmas are included in the Devas, and the beings like the Yakkas, Gandhabas are also part of the Devas. They belong to the Chatu Maharajika realm. So these 5 categories are exhaustive, so they include all the beings who are living in the universe according to the Theravada tradition. That's how the Theravadians would categorize them. So when we say Gati, so this is the normal 5 types of Gati. When we say Bhava, we have 9 types of Bhava, and Bhumi we have 31 realms of existence, right? Bhava means it is the same thing, like for instance, if this is the entire animal realm, the realm of living beings, in one category the Buddha divided them into 5, and in another categorization he divided or categorized them into 9 in a different manner, right? Something like this, as 9. Then in the 31 realms of existence, the categorization was much different. So therefore it is the same number of animals, number means the same living being, the sentient beings have been categorized in different ways. For instance, if we talk about the animals or living beings, we can normally we can categorize them as the ones who doesn't have any legs, ones who have 2 legs, 4 legs, or ones who have more legs. And also we can divide them in mammals and non-mammals. So when we say mammals and non-mammals, the entire range of the animals would be the same in the categorization based on legs, but the division has happened in a different manner. So therefore, when we say 5 types of Gati, 9 types of Bhava, or 31 realms of existence, Bhumi, so we include all the living beings and categorize them into 5. Here we categorize them into 9 groups. Here we categorize them into 31 groups. So therefore, they refer to in the end, their reference is the sentient beings who are living within the universe according to the Theravadians. So then now I'll focus on this Gati aspect. Gati. So within the tradition, we have 2 definitions for Gati. Gati have 2 definitions. One is the realities. That appear in certain lives. For instance, now when we talk about a human, according to the Abhidhamma perspective of the Theravada tradition, how do we define the human Gati? Manusya Gati are the Kamaja Rupas and Vipaka Chitta Chetasikas, if I say in Pali. Now we are born, now every living life is a result of a karma, of a past deed. So when someone has done a karma, and if it gets the opportunity at the near death, so if this is the death, right, due to karma, we are born. So birth means a patisandhi normally we say. Normally when we say in Abhidhamma perspective, nama and rupa arises due to a past karma. So then this continues as a generation. So nama and rupa process continues. So this entire process is a product of a karma. It's a product of a karma. So when we say Gati, Gati means the life. In other words, the life. The main component, the most prominent component in a life is the karma born matter, matter produced by karma. Because we have already discussed about the matter. It's fourfold, born out of karma, born out of consciousness, born out of the heat element, and then born out of nutriment. Matter born out of karma and the chitta chetasikas, the mentalities. Resultant, we can call it better to say resultant mentalities. resultant mentalities. In Pali we call Kammaja Rupa and Vipaka Chitta Chetasikas. But not the entire life is made out of these elements. Not the entire life is made out of these elements. There are consciousness born matter, heat born matter, and also nutriment born matter. And there are some, other than the resultant mentalities, we have wholesome mentalities, unwholesome mentalities, functional mentalities. So the life is constituted with the entire range of mind and matter. But when we say gati, the term gati specifically refers to these mentalities and materiality. Because the thing is, the entire life, a life is a production of karma, and it continues as long as the power of karma remains. The power of karma has various influences to the life. The most prominent and the imperative is it produces certain matter that helps the life to continue, and also certain resultant mentalities, mind and mental factors, which also is essential for the continuation of life. So therefore, when we say gati, it doesn't refer to the entire range of mind and matter. It is specifically confined to the matter and resultant mind and matter, which is born out of karma. When we say resultant of karma, I think all of you are aware of that. When we say resultant in Abhidhamma, we refer to the resultant of a karma. So these are karma born out of karma. Mentality is born out of karma. The matter born out of karma. Right. So when we say gati, we could say resultant realities. Resultant realities that appear in certain lives, right? Resultant realities. Specifically saying, strictly mentioning, normally we don't call resultant matter, because the resultant is translated normally as vipaka. But whatever it is, it's a production of karma. So that's why I use the word resultant here. Resultant reality. So it means mind and matter which are born out of karma are coined or named as the gati. So for instance, when we say about human gati, now if you talk about myself, what is my gati? My gati is the patisandhi chitta, which is born out of karma, and all the mentalities which are born out of past karma is my gati. And then in the sphere of my materiality, whatever matter which is produced by the past karma is also called gati. Not the entire rupa, not the entire consciousness that appears within me. Only the consciousness, mental factors and materiality which is produced by karma is called gati. So that is the first definition of gati according to the Theravada teachings. The second definition is the space in which beings are born. We can show where the beings are born. It's much easier, right? Beings appear, whatever it is. Now the human gati in this sense is the earth. The divine gati is the location which is mentioned in the literature, which is believed to be in the sky. The Niraya gati is located inside the earth. So whatever it is, now these are two different explanations. This gati refers to the components of the life. This definition refers to the space, is a spatial definition. It refers to where the beings are born. So now sometimes when we say the Deva Gati, we may refer to the divine world, and sometimes we may refer to the resultant consciousness and materiality within a divine being. So these are the two different aspects. So in Pali we call this Gati Gati. Here with this we can call the Sanjati Gati. Sanjati Desagati. Sanjati Gati. This word Sanjati Gati is something I have adopted from the literature. for the easiness, because Sanjati Gati has specific definitions according to the aggregate it refers to. So the word Sanjati Gati, when it refers to the Rupa, is mentioned as the space where the living beings are born. So these are the two normal definitions that we can find about the word Gati. It refers to the realities, karma-born and karma-born matter and karma-born mentalities, and also the space in where the beings are born. Now today I am referring to another definition, a third definition. It's the first definition, second definition, the third definition. I am talking about a certain state due to which beings who are born in different gatis possess contrasting or different or conspicuous attributes than the other beings. For instance, animals do possess specific attributes, such as according to the Buddha's teachings, they have three main attributes. One is finding the food, eating, sleeping, and having sex. So these are the main three attributes of the animals. Other than that, they cannot have an intellectual development in their lives. In contrast, the humans do possess a very sharp mind, due to which they can do various types of wholesome and unwholesome deeds. So that's why, according to the tradition, even an animal kills its parents. It's not considered as anantariya karma, but when a human kills his own human parents, then it is considered as an anantariya karma. The difference lays in the sharpness of the human mind than the animals. It's also mentioned that the human mind is quite sharper and quite, we call it its strength, the abilities are higher than even the divine beings. But when in terms of knowing quickly, deities can know the things quite faster than we do, but the sharpness of the mind, according to the Buddha's teachings, the human sharpness is much higher. So that's why all the good and extremes of goodness and badness can be found only in the human realm. So humans do possess even a bodhisattva while born in an animal realm, or born in a divine realm, and born in a human realm. On these three occasions, his mind would be sharper when he is born as a human. So it shows that the humans have specific attributes in the same being who is wandering in samsara. When he is born in the human realm, he possesses certain extra attributes than the moments that than the occasions that he is born as a divine being. So what does this suggest? What does this suggest? This suggests that there is a certain state which defines or which causes a human to have a specifically a sharper mind. So that's why I am talking about a state called Gati. This can also be attributed to the niyamas, the laws, but still we have some information within the literature to consider it as a certain Paramatta state. Paramatta means a state which can be found in the ultimate sense. But we cannot find it as ultimate reality like a dharma, like the chitta or cetasikas or a specific rupa. We are talking about a certain state which causes the beings who are born in such states to possess different attributes from the other beings who are born in other states. Now, for instance, think about the divine realm, which is called Tusita. I think all of us are aware of such a realm, according as Buddhists, Tusita. The beings in the Tusita realm is said to be happier than the other divine realm, other divine beings. They are more happy or happier. Why is that? The deities who are born within this realm, even the same being, for instance, when he is born in a different divine realm, and while he is born as a Tusita being, he is much happier than while he is born in another realm. So this means that there is such a state called Tusita state, which makes the beings to possess different attributes than while they are born in other different states. So that was the main reason. So this difference sometimes is caused by yoni niyama. We call it the word yoni niyama. This yoni niyama makes this to happen. This is a one kind of a law according to the tradition. Now we'll go into how to find out where the references we can find within the literature to conclude that there is such a definition. In the commentary of Majjhima Nikaya, we find a specific sentence given by the Thera Mahasiva. It says, Kammanhi yoniyang kipati. Yoni siddha ime satta nana vanna hantu. Nana vanna hanti. This was mentioned in the Majjhima Nikaya commentary. Majjhima commentary, Attakatha, book number 3, page 295. Mentioned by an ancient Sri Lankan elder called Mahasiva, respected to be an Arahant. At the age of 90. At the age of 90 he became an Arahant, as the literature says. So what does this Pali sentence mean? Kammanhi yoniyang kipati. So the subject is kamman. The karma, kipati, puts or throws something at a certain place. So the karma puts the beings in the yoni. So what does this yoni means in Pali? Right, the word yoni. The karma puts the beings in the yoni. Yoni siddha ime satta nana vanna hanti. There's various appearances of certain beings. Now, for instance, within the animal realm, we have various appearances according to species. And also, think in the Theravadian aspect, we have 31 realms of existence, like the divine realms, the Brahma realms, human realms, awful realms. So, in various realms, we have various attributes found in different beings. So these verities, these various appearances, it's not only physical appearances we are talking, even the mental capacities. The human mind is sharper than the divine and the animal mind. And the animals possess different attributes, like very contrasting to that's of humans. So likewise, the different appearances or different attributes, capacities that the beings possess, satta nana vanna hanti, beings have different capacities or appearances, due to which these animals have different capacities and physical appearances due to the yoni siddha ime satta. So there's another word called yoni within the tradition. Yoni is fourfold, how the beings are born. In another, we have another classification of beings, yoni, 4 yonis, right? 5 gati, 9 bhava, and 31 bhumi. There is something called vijnana titi. I will not be discussing on that because it is not an exhaustive classification. So yoni siddha ime satta. So what does this mean? The beings have different appearances due to the yoni, and the karma puts the beings in the yoni. So what does this yoni means? It's a one kind of a state. Due to being born or put into these states by the karma, the beings possess different mental and physical attributes. Mental capacities, physical appearances, due to being put into this yoni. So I would call it as a state. So therefore, it is something which is not conventional. It is something ultimate. But we cannot define it as ultimate reality, as a chitta or chetasika or a rupa. So that's why I put it in between the Panyati and Paramatta. So now, for instance, how do we prove this with some logical arguments? The best argument that we can bring is the range of karma and the range of births that we can have due to various karmas. Now, due to karma, we are born. Life happens. We know there are 31 types of existence, 31 types of lives, according to the tradition, 4 woeful realms and 27 blissful realms. But the range of karma we can call, it's quite infinite, or it's very quite large. It's a very large swath. The range is quite large because the karma is affected by the nature of the mind, nature of anusaya, nature of upanisaya, previous practices, habits, we can call, right? So, and also some other conditions. So therefore, we normally say, when a person kills an animal for the first time and he kills for the second time, the karma is different. The strength of the karma, the gravity of the karma, the nature of the karma is different. And it is also determined, the nature is determined by various aspects. How, what is the condition of the mind, in which state it is in, whether it's somanasa or upekha, or whether its mind is lethargic or very active or energetic. So we have various types of karma. The range of karma, the variety of karma is quite large. We may have infinite number of variety. That's why even one chitta is different from the other karma chitta. Even within one mind stream, chitta viti, one consciousness, javana consciousness is different from the next consciousness. So when we think about the varieties of the karmas done by infinite number of beings, the range of karma is quite equal to infinite. But the thing is, how bigger the range of how larger the swath of this karma is, doesn't matter. The births are determined to be 31. Births are 31. Now we know in science, physical science, we think about electron. Electron has a specific energy. But the range it exists, the states the electron exists are quite defined, well defined. Like it has some we call like the D state, the F state. It is limited to a certain number. So electron may not exist in between two states. Either it exists in this state or this state. It doesn't exist in here, but the spatial range can be infinite within here, the places where the electron can exist, but it is found in two specific energy range. So likewise, if we take these 31 realms of existence, how various the karma would be doesn't matter. When we are born in any of these 31 realms. There is no beings which is born in between the Tusita and the Yama, Chatum Maharajika and Tavatinsa. We are able, according to the teachings, we are able to categorize the beings into these 31 realms. So what does this mean? Like that there are certain states where electron can exist. Likewise, there are certain realms in which the beings are born. Otherwise, when we compare the variety of the karmas that can be done by various beings, which is quite equal to the infinite, but the number of lives that one can have is only the 31. So this means the energy of karma can be from 0 to, like for instance, to a very higher number, but the realms are 31. So this suggests that, I'm not talking about the space where the beings are born, I'm not talking about the realities that appear in a certain being. We are talking about a state in which the beings are born. Like it's quite difficult to explain what kind of a thing it is, But when we look into this, the teachings with a radical aspect, radical mindset or logical mindset, we find that there should be such a state due to which determines the characteristics of living beings and also where the karma can fit. For instance, a karma of this level, now if a being does various types of karma, for example, if these are the different ranges of karma, sometimes this fits this realm, this would fit this realm, but this in between karma is not going to give a rebirth here. It would either go here or here. If we think that it would go here, it shows that there is a specific range of karma which determines where. Now it's not the range of karma. Due to this range, the karmas are determined which karmas would go into this, would lead into this realm. That's why the Mahasiva Thera said, Kammanhi yoniyang kipati. Due to karmas, beings are born in certain realms. The karmas put the beings into certain realms. Yoni siddha ime satta nana vanna. Because this state is already determined by the law of nature. So if someone is born as a human being, regardless of his nature of the karma, if that karma, the range of that karma fits to be born in the human realm, he would surely possess a mind which is sharper than the animals. If that karma leads to the Tusita realm, he would be happier than the other living beings. And if that karma leads to a Nimmanarati divine realm, he is able to, for example, Nimmanarati, he is able to create his own, like the pleasures that he would like to enjoy. So likewise, they possess different. Now there are two realms which says that the divine beings are able to specifically have the intimate, the sex with the beings whom they like, in the appearances they like, they wish. So they can make their partners to appear in such way. So the Nimmanarati causes the higher being can cause its partner to have a certain appearance. The Paranimita Vasavati, the partner would know he or her desires and change the appearance accordingly. So that is said to have the greatest sensual pleasures within the existence according to Theravada teachings. So these beings by birth possess these abilities. That ability is not found in the Tusita realm. Why is that? Because there is such an ultimate state which causes the living beings to possess certain mental and physical attributes by birth. So that is why I call that there is a certain state called Gati other than the mind and matter which is born in that realm, the space where the beings are born, such an extra state can also be found, due to which the beings possess certain physical and mental attributes or capacities. So that's why Venerable Mahasiva mentioned Kammanhi Yoni and Kipati. I'll conclude the lecture. Karma takes you to certain realms. And Yoni Siddha Ime Sattanana Vanahati. Due to the specific attributes of this Yoni or the realm, beings possess unique attributes which other beings of other realms do not possess. Yeah. So this would be the lecture for today. So we discussed about few aspects. The Gati. Gati have two famous definitions within the tradition. They are the karma-born realities in a specific life, mind or matter made out of karma, and then the space where living beings are born. Then the other, I was talking that other than these two, it can also be explained as a certain state due to which the beings who are born in such a state would possess certain mental and physical attributes. And this is the evidence that we can get within the Theravada tradition to prove that such idea prevailed. And this is the logic. The variety of karma, the range is quite large, but the number of realms that we can be born is already defined, already limited. Like the states in which the electron can exist are already limited. How much energy you give into an electron, it doesn't matter. It would either stay in this state or it would jump into the other state. It would not exist in between. So within the state, we know according to the Schrödinger's idea, it may appear in various places. And the principle of uncertainty But I'm not talking about that uncertainty within a state, talking about in between. There it doesn't normally exist in between. Why is that? There is such a specific state in which an electron can exist. So energy, we can control how much energy we put into an electron. That depends on us. We can have we can input give various inputs, but the existence happens in specific states. So likewise, the karma, the range of karma is quite equal to the infinite when we compare it with the number of beings that we have in the universe. But still, how larger the swath of the karma, the births are already determined, or already determined means limited. It's better to say limited, otherwise it would go on the doctrine of determination. So they are limited for 31. So various karmas with various energy levels would lead to a certain realm, and those realms are already very well defined within the tradition. So this suggests that there is these realms. I'm not talking about the realities that appear within these beings, not talking about the space where this realm exists, but talking about the state, one kind of ultimate state.
Yeah, hello everyone. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand.
When a specific being is born in such a specific state, it possesses different mental and physical attributes.
Good morning. Today I have maybe two questions.
Yeah, I would.
The first one is about the first definition of gati. You said the first definition of gati is the realities that appear in certain lives. So here we only consider the Kamacharupa and the Vipaka, Citta and Cetasikas in the past because of past karma, or including the present karma as well, Bhante?
Yes, yeah. I think I was, when I say past karma, I refer to past to the appearance of reality. It may also include the present life or the past lives. But when I was saying past karma, I was referring past to the appearance of the reality. So it includes all the resultants, the karmas that were done in this life or in the past lives.
Right. Okay, thank you, Bhante. And the other question is, here you said that the title of this lecture is about gati, and you said that it's like the certain state due to which beings possess certain attributes. But in here, does that mean that you equate the word gati, yoni, bhava, and bhumi as well, Bhante?
Yes. It means or not equalizing, like they all, this is a fourfold classification, fivefold classification. So we can say there are 31 states according to the bhumi, 5 states according to the gati. The best that I would prefer to explain in based on bhumi, but the thing is the word normally found in the literature is gati. That's why I took the approach from gati. Otherwise, if we go into the more detailed explanation, it's better to say there are 31 realms of existence.
I see.
But the thing is, like we can also explain it like there are 31 states or 9 states according to the bhava, 5 states according to the bhava, because these classifications are based on some characteristics. Why the Buddha categorized all beings into 4 yoni, all beings into 5 gati? Because if we talk about the yonis, the upapatikas do possess certain attributes other than the andejas or jalabujas. So he could see how these states can be. He could name these states, but I would prefer that if we go into this bhumi, I would prefer that it would be much easier to understand.
I see. So can we translate the word gati as living environment, Bhante?
If we say living environment, doesn't it fall into the second definition?
No, it's just because it's the living environment. It's not the space. It's not the physical space, but it's like because of that environment, some certain being have to have some certain attribute in order to adapt to that environment.
That is also, I would prefer, like as it mentioned in the theory of evolution, right? But for instance, if we talk about the divine realms, how do we, now the possession of happiness by the Tusita beings, how should we understand it? Isn't it that something that they possess by birth?
So, for example, I think according to the theory of evolution, that it says that during the time of the dinosaurs, the environment at the time is suitable for them to have that kind of shape and size and so on.
Mm.
So can we take that an analogy and say that for certain in the beings in the Dusita, when they live in there, that environment give them that kind of living?
We can think like that, but when we say environment, it would be always physical, right? So then if the word covers something which also includes the mental aspect, if you say the environment is affecting them to be happier, or then we have some difficulties to explain, I feel. Now for instance, think about the Nimmana Rati or Paramatta Paranimitta Vasavatis have such abilities to create its past partner according to his desire. So can we attribute them to the environment even, or isn't it better that we define it as a kind of a state that influence the mind and matter?
Yeah, I need to
So,
think a little bit about that a little bit more, Bante. Okay, yeah, thank you, Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good morning, Bande.
one Sally.
Like the beings, when they're born in the different gadis, but they possess different abilities.
Mhm.
Even in the same gadi, but they may be some poor, some rich, or some have many attendants. So in that sense, we can only say it's because of karma.
Sometimes now, according to the Chulla Kama Vibhanga Sutta, such things like the born in a poor family or a rich family or having a beautiful appearance or a ugly appearance is normally attributed to the karma. Yeah, and the thing that the best question that I would say, like, how about the animal realm? Different animals have various appearances, various abilities. So that's why now this sentence, like this Yoni Kipati, Yoni and Kipati, Yoni Siddha Ime Satta. This also is specifically mentioned to the animal, is also mentioned to the animal realm. Because in animal realm we find a cat and a dog is quite different. But when we go into the theory of evolution, we find that in the ancient time, some species have evolved from a very common ancestor. But according to the evolution, even now the counter argument for evolution is they haven't found species in between. In one occasion they found a certain species, they consider it as in between the reptiles and the birds, and later the scientists concluded that the fossil belongs to a bird, not to an in-between animal. So likewise, we are, I think to my knowledge, we are still finding animals in between certain groups. So with the evolution, there is a kind of evolution for sure. Buddhism also can, according to the Buddhist theory, it can be explained. There is a human evolution, even though it's quite different what the theory of evolution says, but the evolution obvious. We see how the beings change according to the time. Only thing that the Buddhism doesn't accept is that everything is material. So there should be something transcending the material. So we call it the consciousness. So within the animal realm, even with the evolution, we find certain differences in animals. And then we also have something called the Yoni Niyama. It means when a certain being is born from the parents, the siblings, the offspring, not the siblings, beg your pardon. Offsprings possess mental and physical attributes related to their parents and also the ancestors. So that is because they are born in those parental generations, ancestral generations. But now if we go into the beginning of the world, I would say there would be reptiles, the mammals, birds, something I'm not able to entirely say it now, and then the question comes, due to the variety of the animal kingdom, how many kinds of yonis that you can have. I would say like similar animals in whom we can clearly trace ancestor, like the bear and the dog. I think they are related to my knowledge. So likewise, we may be able to say the limited number of yoni can be found within the animal realm even, but the things like the nice appearance, the attractiveness, the richness, poorness in the human realm is specifically due to the karma, and it has been clearly defined by the Buddha. So I'm talking about regardless of the karma we are born with, Due to being born into a such realm, we automatically or naturally possess certain abilities. Like a bird is capable of flying, not by birth, but it has the capacity, it's born with the capacity to fly. It may learn it later, but human can never learn to fly. So likewise, we can see certain specific mental, physical attributes according to the literature that are possessed by beings who are born in certain realms. So that's what I mean. Why do they possess such abilities? That is because of this dhammata. Dhammata means this nature, right? So then, is it just a dhammata? Yeah, it's very close to a dhammata. It's very close to a phenomenon. That's why I mentioned it. We can say it as a phenomenon, but at the same time, we find it is numbered. The number, we have a specific number, so we can see as an ultimate state even. So it is something very difficult to interpret whether it is dhammata or dhamma exactly. When we look into this, we can see dhamma attributes. It is one kind of a state. Like nirvana is a state. So likewise, is a state which determines the physical and mental attributes. At the same time, it can also be said as a phenomenon due to which these differences have occurred. So likewise, I would not say the richness, poorness, the higher class as mentioned in the Chulla Vibhanga Sutta, Chulla Kamma Vibhanga Sutta, I would not attribute it to into this yoni niyama or dhammata. I would rather call it the karma, following the Buddha's words. These are, I'm talking, I think I think you got the idea what I mean, right?
Okay, thank you, Bande.
Okay, thank you, Bante. Sadhu.
Okay, Dr. Rai.
I see another hand. So can you take another? Okay, Bante. Please go ahead, Sayale Uttama.
Good morning, Bante.
Good morning.
Yes. Thank you very much for the lecture. I'm sorry, I have some problem with the computer. That's why the hand was raised a bit late. So my question is about the yoni.
Mhm.
Yoni, because today the resolution of the screen is not so high, so I cannot see it clearly. It is number 4, number 9.
Sorry, number?
The number of the yoni.
4.
Or number 4.
4. But here when I say yoni, I'm not referring to this yoni. Here this is a different yoni. Here when I say yoni, I'm referring to the state. Whether it is 31-fold or 9-fold or 5-fold or 4-fold, I'm referring to the specific state. So I personally prefer to explain this in the 31-fold way because it's much easier to explain. So here yoni means the andaja, the born out of the egg, born out of the mother's womb, born in the moisture and also spontaneous born. There is this categorization. Here when I say yoni, I am referring to the state. Yeah.
So the same term, different meanings.
Yes, different meaning.
So just for the later meaning, can I ask further another question?
Okay, sure.
So this special state that just explain the third meaning of gati. Is it can we call it is like one of the 10 kind of iddhi power?
One of 10 kind of iddhi.
Yes.
Iddhi means, now it's another very good question. Thank you for raising that question actually. Now here it was mentioned yoni siddha, ime satta. So it's like this. Kamma puts the beings into the yoni. Kamma is karma, yoni is the state I'm talking. Then because of the state, various appearances. Nana vanna honti. Various capacities and appearances. So when we say iddhi, the word iddhi, we normally translate this as psychic abilities, but it is tenfold according to the Theravada teachings. So first 3 are dedicated to the various supernatural abilities. First 3 iddhi, this is tenfold, 10 iddhi. The remaining are like one is not affected by fire or other physical disturbances while someone is in a Nirodha Samapatti. And sometimes some would get certain, due to the miracles, due to the merits that they have done in the past, certain things would appear mysteriously to someone. So these are the 10-fold iddhi. So in that categorization we have Kamma Vipakaja iddhi, something called Kamma Vipakaja iddhi. Kamma Vipakaja iddhi, this is one, I think it was number 9 if my memory was correct, number 9th or 8th. Kamma Vipakaja iddhi means the ability a bird possesses to fly is a Kamma Vipakaja. It's not done by this, it's not done because of as a supernatural ability. It possesses that capacity by birth. Because being born in the bird's realm, species of birds, it has the capacity to fly. And the fish can sustain within the water. As Dr. Ryan mentioned, the environment is also suitable. That is also one great aspect. I'm not denying that the translation. What I mentioned that time was it doesn't cover the entire thing. The environment also plays a huge role there, because the fish possess the ability to take the oxygen which is in the water that humans do not possess. So this Kamma Vipakaja iddhi is normally mentioned in the tradition, something that they possess, that the divine beings are capable to fly without any samadhi by birth. They are capable of transforming their body into various appearances, even without having any psychic abilities. So these are things that are possessed by birth. Now if you think about the formula, Kamma puts into the state. Due to the state, Kammang hi yoniyang kipati. Kamma throws the beings into the state. Yoni siddha ime satta nana vanna hundu. Because they are born in such states. Now it doesn't mean that a being is born here and then first put into a state and being born in the get certain appearances. Because due to the karma after chutti, one is born as with a patisandhi. But the thing is, where he is born, due to the state which influences this birth, the being may possess various capacities and appearances. So therefore that practical incident which happens can be segmented into these segments, like Kamma. Due to Kamma, one is born in a certain state. Due to the state, one possesses these abilities. Now the word Kamma Vipakaja is not referring to the state, it refers to the capacities it gets due to being born in a state. So it is related to the state, but it's not specifically mentioning about the state. Due to the state, you get certain capacities and appearances. Those capacities, abnormal capacities, are the Kamma Vipakaja iddhi. Is it clear, Sally?
Yeah, she's not responding, Bante. So anyway, I think it's clear, Bante. But then Bante, so and then also the Vipaka, see Kamma Vipakaja. So basically, it's just Kammaja, right, Bante?
No. This is a different terminology. This is different terminology. It's the abilities that they possess due to this formula. We should not go into that Kammaja. It's a different, you can find this in Patisambhida Magga. We should not go into the Abhidhamma classification. It says the capacity is born due to Kamma. Kamma Vipaka doesn't mean now when someone is born as a bird, the ability to fly is not because of his karma. Because of Kamma is born in a state, due to that state, he possesses the capacity. So it has a linear connection with karma. Otherwise, it's not directly brought by the karma.
Yeah. So here the word Vipaka doesn't have anything to do with the Kamma Vipaka.
No. Now, like this. As a Kamma Vipaka, we are born here.
Right. Yes.
So due to this, we get the capacities. So linearly we can say it, but not in terms of Abhidhamma approach.
Right. Yes. Because otherwise it's a Vipakaja, so it doesn't make any sense. Yes.
Vipakaja, born out of Vipaka even. Yeah. Yeah, we also discuss about this, right? Vipakaja. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yes, and then, yeah, I think there is no more question, Bante. Thank you, Bante.
And we call it a day. So thank you very much for joining, and may this merit help us to attain the nirvana and also support the prolongation of the Buddha's teachings. So, Buddha sasanang chirantittatu, Buddha sasanang chirantittatu, Buddha sasanang chirantittatu, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.